popular narrative that you hear is that we have to have immigrants because Americans won't do those jobs. Well, the part they leave out of that is illegal immigrants. And there's a big kerfluffle over DJT exporting all these immigrants. Well, they wouldn't get exported if they weren't illegal, but hey, details, schmeetails. But we have to have illegals. We have to have immigrants because Americans won't do these jobs. The trouble with that is the statement is incomplete. What they mean is Americans won't do these jobs for those wages. Americans have heard for years we have to have immigrants to do the jobs that Americans won't do. They won't clean the motels, they won't pick the produce, they won't work in the meat packing facilities, they won't do landscaping, they won't do this, they won't do that, they won't do anything. I mean, do you want $70,000 strawberries at the store? Is that what you want? And it's a lie. We know it's a lie because prices keep going up. Prices of food, prices of landscape labor, prices of the roof on your house, primarily done by illegals. Bad statement, primarily done by immigrants. The price just goes up and up and up and up. Maybe, just maybe, I'm just throwing this out there. I know it's crazy, but you just got to bear with me for a minute. Maybe a few less billions or hundreds of billions of dollars that are kept for the company, for the corporation, and given to the workers, and they don't have to go on the government dole. You hearing me, China Mart? Maybe Americans would do those jobs. And why are the working conditions so unsafe in meatpacking facilities? I don't care who's doing the job. They ought to be safe and they ought to be well compensated. But this notion that, well, if you want to pay $80,000 for a pound of burger, bring on the unions and all that. The prices keep going up. The wages aren't going up. Wages and productivity have been massively divided since 1972. Wages have basically stayed stagnant. You need $26.65 an hour just to reach kind of the average wage of manual labor jobs of the working class in 1965. These are all statistics. You can look them up. But I saw the other day, I was doing maintenance in it's a cooking facility. They train chefs and they and they're hiring a chef. Now hiring $14 an hour. What are you going to pay with that? I mean, I guess you could buy the food that you're preparing, some of it. You cannot live in this economy with this devalued dollar, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get way worse. You can't do that on $14 an hour unless you want to live under your desk, I guess. And man, I'm telling you, as I've said before already in previous videos, these white-collar jobs, they're dropping like flies because now they got AI. AI doesn't need sick days. They don't need medical insurance. What are you people going to do? I don't know. I have no idea. But this notion that Americans won't do the work, they won't do the construction work, they won't, give me a break. And the times that I have seen these immigrants, they don't know how to build houses American style. They have to be shown. They have to be trained. And the work that they do is substandard. Substandard pay, you get substandard work. Don't get me wrong, there are probably some fine craftsmen, I would assume, somewhere. But by and large, a lot of the work I see done by immigrants is shoddy. It's substandard. You get what you pay for. But the media and everybody, we can't have minimum wage being $30 an hour, which they don't say that. Remember, just a few short years ago, they said $15 for minimum wage. You're gonna, the whole retail sector will be wiped out. Be mass chaos. Nobody will be working because companies can't afford that. Well, now that number is minimum $20 an hour. Did the companies go out of business? We just get lied to and lied to and lied to. But you can see, it's public information. You can see the profits of these companies, these corporations. Hundreds of billions of dollars. When is enough going to be enough? How much is it going to take? And how long will American workers put up with it? I believe what you're going to see as these white-collar jobs keep dropping, shift is going to happen. And a lot of those people without any other income, they're going to shift to the blue-collar jobs. That gives even more of an employee base to choose and pick from. And regardless of how much experience you have in the trades, now the labor force is increased and you can pay even less. So instead of doing the proper thing and raise the wages, they're going to go down because the pool is so much bigger and people are going to get desperate. I'll work for 14 hours. I'll be a chef. You got to go to culinary school for that. I mean, it's culinary school, but it still takes effort and time. $14 an hour. I'm just saying, the narratives that we keep hearing over and over and over, probably somewhere in the 1980s on some national news service that probably said, $7.25. Are you people out of your mind? You're going to bankrupt the world. Oh, the federal minimum wage has been $7.25 since I don't know when. And a lot of the state wages are $8 an hour or $11 an hour. What are you going to do with that? The way the economy, and it's going to get worse. The dollar keeps losing purchasing power, and the more they keep inflating it and handing it out, doling it here and doling it there, the more that happens, the less it's going to be worth. And pretty soon you're going to end up $80 an hour isn't enough. Now, the corporate version of this, a little bit, I understand it. There was somebody, I can't remember who, had the saying, so I can show you how to make somebody want to be a millionaire, is to give them $1, and pretty soon they're going to want $5. You give them 5, and they're going to want 10. 10 to 100, and $100, and so on, until pretty soon they're going to want to be a millionaire. When is enough enough? I can see the corporations saying that. They're never happy. We gave them health benefits. It's a sucky plan, and it costs a fortune, but all we got to do is look at the profits. You can't sit here and say, well, we can't have American-built VCRs. They have to be built overseas, unless you want to pay a bazillion dollars for one. And the people that are assembling them, if they are assembled in America, they have to be immigrants. We can't pay them properly or they're going to be a bazillion dollars. Everything doesn't have to go to the profit margin. When your profits are hundreds of billions of dollars, in Walmart's case, every single year's got to be a brand new record all time, and you can't afford to keep your employees, your associates, they like to call them. We're part of this team. Well, half your team, more than half, is on the public dole because they can't afford to live because your wages are so low. But yet them profits, hundreds of millions every year, maybe just a few less hundreds of millions. Pay the people something. And you'd just be amazed at the loyalty and the stacks of applications and resumes that you get. It's crazy. It's a crazy thought. I'm talking crazy now. What a world, man. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. If you want to, you can put the comments in the doobly-doo, and you can share the videos. You do whatever you want to do. Used to be a free country. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you next time.